Because if you speak to someone in a foreign language, you'll be speaking to their mind. But if you speak to them in their mother tongue, you'll be speaking to the heart. That was once said by Nelson Mandela.
Hello everyone, my name is Koto. I work here at the Hector Peterson Memorial Site as a site guide outside. I'm here to explain the history of June 16, 1976 or the Soweto Uprising in general, which I'll start from the beginning in 1953 when the National Party introduced the Bantu Education Act of 1953 to the black community of South Africa across the country. So when it was introduced to the black community already, the black child was being taught in missionary schools. From missionary schools, the likes of Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, where they were allowed to learn anything they liked. They were not restricted to learn anything they wanted to learn.
Hello fellow corners, I'm Tipana from Tipana News Corner TV. Today I'm at Orlando, Soweto, as we commemorate the 1976 youth. Then we celebrate the June 16th or Youth Day. As Tipana News Corner TV today, we're more at Peterson Musium. We're behind my back. So Louis Chuta more.
The regime either ended up in Robben Island, or it ended up there, or eventually had to flee the country or into exile. But fortunately for us, then came about the people. So by funding the Black Consciousness Movement, helped a lot to change the narrative in terms of how black people were seeing themselves. One of his most famous quotes, he said, the most potent weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Hence, he was considered a threat. He was tortured and died in police custody in 1977. But before that happened, in 1973, Africans would be forcefully introduced to become the leader of instruction without giving teachers any training whatsoever to teach the language. And Afrikaans as a language developed around 1870. It became an official language in South Africa in 1925. It's the youngest language in the world, and being about 80% Dutch, when the students used it to write their final exams at the end of 1975, over 90% of them, they failed dismally across the country. Because if you speak to someone in a foreign language, you'll be speaking to their mind, but if you speak to them in their mother tongue, you'll be speaking to the heart. That was once said by Nelson Mandela.
So one of our matsatsi ba na le la ke ba batlile ba gona bona ntse le ba ithuta yona mo dibuku ka matlho a bona. So we are not they are fortunate because of they can learn theory and they also learn into practical. So we're not getting that opportunity back in the days. For Bona, they are fortunate.
Okay. So these kind symbolizing the life
So the students also made a pact that no one should tell their parents that they are going to be marching on the day. Remember, their parents had been experiencing the brutality of the regime since 1948. So they were saying a half a loaf is better than nothing. But the students believe that you can't say a quarter gram of poison is better than a gram. Poison is poison. If you swallow it, chances are it might still kill you anyway. So we were told that it was a cold winter morning. It was on a Wednesday, on the 16th of June in 1976, where about 500 students gathered 7 or so kilometers away from the site. And as they were moving in different columns, different groups, passing other secondary schools and high schools collecting each other. As soon as they got to this four-way stop here, they turned right. They proceeded to go in that direction. The reason for them to go that way was because they wanted to go past a school by the name of Peterson Senior Secondary. Waited about the Unfortunately, they were confronted by 300 policemen. One of those police drew a line on the street, telling the students that they are not allowed to pass over the line. They've got a license to shoot to kill. But still being addressed in Afrikaans, the students continued to do it, which is a peaceful demonstration. And majority of the songs that they were singing, they were illegal. One of them was, I'll sing the song for you, but I don't want to pass your camera. I'm not very good at singing. So today the song, as you know, we sing it as part of the national anthem. I personally fail to understand how God bless Africa would be. It's painted red on the ground. So that would be the blood that was shed in this area. Between 34 and 46 students were shot and killed on the 16th of June. After 2 days, the number had risen to over 180 students who had lost their lives, including the ones who were joining in from surrounding countries like Alexandra. And then on the third day, one of the student leaders, C.S.C. Mashini, went to a mortuary to go look for the missing bodies. He said when he got to that mortuary, there were stacks of dead bodies lying all over the ground. There was one person who was still alive. The white policeman made a joke, saying that look at black power is rising from the dead. And then he had a gunshot shortly afterwards. He even said they were putting stickers on the foreheads of the dead bodies. The highest number that he saw on the third day was 353. And then the Soweto uprising spread all over the country for a period of 2 years. But in that 2-year period here in Soweto, no schooling whatsoever. Estimated that more than 600 students were killed. About 140 were under the age of 14 years. And then the picture itself, it was taken around this area. So you see those people who are walking wearing that red t-shirt just ahead there, on the right. So that's where Sendima took about 6 pictures, quickly took out the film in his camera. I know.
So as I was saying, the education for the black child was missionary schools from the early 1900s up until 1953, when the National Party decided to introduce Bantu education to the black community. So as I was saying, the likes of Nelson Mandela were allowed to learn certain subjects. So that's why they became lawyers and judges and political activists along the way. They could learn and further on their education through the likes of Fort Hare University and Wits University, not restricting the black child to learn any subject. But when Bantu education was introduced by the apartheid regime in 1953, it was worst for the black child because they undermined the black child. In such ways, they were given 42 rand for each black child's education while they were struggling with their education. While they were struggling with the education, they didn't have enough writing material. They were using slate stones and they didn't have enough reading material. They would share one book in a group, taking turns to read it so they can know how to read. Those are the basics educations they had. And they had a problem of overcrowding in the schools. There were no new schools being built in townships around the country because the government at that time felt that they didn't need to spend for the black child. All they had to do was learn for manual labor.
If we left him on the ground and somebody saw him jumping over Hector, he would never be able to live around here. Mama Buisa's mother was selling African curos at the market. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2005 without having an opportunity to find closure regarding the disappearance of her son. That's why we've got this wall that's behind me here. So this wall is called the wall of emptiness or the wall of the void. Because there's a lot of information that we still don't know regarding that era. So these maps, these passages, they are not just here for people to come in and out. Those would be the untold stories regarding why the police were even carrying live ammunition. Those are the unsung heroes and heroines and some of the bodies that were never recovered. Because some of those evil police, as they were shooting, I'm not only going to be saying evil, but also trigger heavy. They were shooting and taking bodies to go bury secretly without taking any accountability.
So they had a problem of overcrowding the schools. One classroom could host up to 100 students. So the teachers had to solve this problem. They hosted 2 sessions each day. It was one in the morning and one in the afternoon. On hot days, it was under trees. Again, the teachers didn't need to do this because they earn the lowest salary throughout the country, because the black person earned the lowest salary through his skin color. So the white teacher would earn more, the Indian teacher would earn more, the colored teacher would earn more than the black teacher who had many periods to teach. As I said, teaching 2 lessons each day. You can imagine being a teacher who has to knock off late in the afternoon because of the missing resources. Again, in universities too, the Bantu education played its part, because students from high schools were not allowed to learn certain subjects like physics and chemistry. They only learned industrial works, where the main purpose was that the black child was supposed to work under manual labor, never competing for jobs with other races in the country. So when I say industrial works, it's the likes of steel works, cleaning. So our main objective was being a garden boy, or as they said, spanner boys, and again, cleaning girls or maids. That was the main objective of the Bantu education. The black child was meant to work under a white person, listening to his rules. So the main cause of the march, or the main purpose, what made things worse through the Bantu education, was Afrikaans as a medium of instruction that was introduced in black community schools in 1974. In white areas, it was introduced in 1973. How it worked, it was a 50-50 basis. The students would be taught in English and Afrikaans throughout their primary and high school. So they were being taught in 2 languages. When it was introduced in black areas, first the black child in their primary schools was taught in their native languages, and then English further on in their grades, so they could understand the basics of education. So they were being taught in 2 languages, their native languages and English, which the students were really struggling with. Saw it as a foreign language. But again, when they introduced Afrikaans to them, it became the second foreign language the students had to learn in 2 years, forced by the apartheid regime, because the teachers, the parents were complaining. The parents complained that the language, they were turning against the culture of the black child. There's no need for the black child to need Afrikaans. What is he going to use it for? They're just trying to destroy the culture of the black child and not learning their own languages, because Afrikaans was only spoken in South Africa, and it was seen as the oppressor's language by the parents, the teachers, and the students themselves. The teachers themselves saw the language useless to be taught in South Africa, because it was not an international language. They preferred English as a medium of instruction. That's why they wrote the memorandum in 1975 to the Bantu education, telling them that Afrikaans is not working as a medium of instruction. The students are failing their subjects. The teachers couldn't teach in Afrikaans. So why it made it difficult for Afrikaans to be taught taught as a medium of instruction is that firstly, the subjects they chose to teach in Afrikaans were maths and social studies. And the teachers couldn't teach in Afrikaans. Many of them were taught in English. So those who couldn't teach in Afrikaans were fired from the post. Those students and the teachers even tried to come up with solutions. So the teachers would teach in English first, then translate it to Afrikaans, so the students could understand the subjects that were being taught in Afrikaans. Even though there was police, civilians in every selected school that was supposed to teach in Afrikaans. But again, that didn't work. The students themselves, they cancelled the PE classes so they could teach other students who never understood Afrikaans as in the subjects that you were being taught. So all of that didn't work. They tried to come up with solutions. They even complained to the Bantu education, but that Bantu education didn't care. They ignored the grievances of the teachers and the parents. They said they felt that they have to teach in Afrikaans. If they can teach in English, they can teach in Afrikaans. It's the same thing. That's how.
So as Tipana News Corner TV, we learn more about what happened 16 June 1976. Signing out.
Community way, our supporting Tipana News Corner. What is that? Which is Selena? Our supporting Tipana News Corner. You on about YouTube. Our level West Tipana News Corner TV now is
Hey everyone, this is Munyetale Mahloli Mavis, the chairperson of Pitokipo Youth Development. I myself would like to encourage you to subscribe to Tipana News Corner TV so that you can never miss anything regarding the community and all the stuff you may need. You subscribe from YouTube Corner TV, TikTok Tipana News Corner TV, and also you can find them on Facebook, of which is Tipana News Corner. Thank you all.
Please continue to subscribe to our channel.